Hello loves, welcome back to my channel for today's journal session series episode 4. So today we're going to be going over journal prompts for exploring your identity. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Tyla, and this is a series that I do where we journal together. I give you guys a prompt and then I share my answers as well, and I give you guys some space in between for you guys to write out your answers. So let's get into it. So question number 1, what are your personal values and beliefs? How do they shape your identity? What I've noticed on my healing journey is that a lot of the values and beliefs that I had were really from trauma, from experiences from when I was younger, things that I've went through, and just people that I've met. So as you get older, you really start to realize that the things that you believed to be your values really don't suit you or serve you in some cases. It gets to a point when you're on your healing journey that you have to reset your boundaries and your standards and your values and beliefs. In my opinion, this is honestly the fun part because you get to really just create a whole new world for yourself. When it comes to questions like this, especially when you're journaling, I always stress that you should write out your answer as honestly as possible. Because depending on where you're at within your healing journey, your answers might show you a lot about what you may still need to heal. So depending on what your answer to this question is, you may need to reevaluate or rewrite and just reaffirm what your boundaries and beliefs are. Maybe create some new boundaries and beliefs or values or things that you want to shape your identity. Your beliefs and your values play a huge part on the type of person that you are, the way that you carry yourself, the way that you portray yourself to the world, the way that you work. It really just sets the tone for your characteristics and the qualities that you have about yourself. So if you currently feel that your values and your beliefs don't align with who you want to be, think about the version of yourself that you want to be and imagine what their values and beliefs would be. And then just rearrange your current values and beliefs into that and start practicing that, start implementing that. And that's really the best way to start working towards becoming the best version of yourself. So the answer that I wrote is, I believe in treating others how you want to be treated. I believe in being the change that you want to see and moving with kindness and humbleness. I believe in having faith and connecting with source. And my beliefs shape my identity in the way that helps me to stay positive and receive good because I put that out into the world. So on to question number 2. What are some of the roles that you take on in your life? How do these roles contribute to your sense of identity? So the thing that I like about journal prompts and just writing in general is that with each of these questions, they may honestly give you a different type of interpretation. So when I read this question, for me, it made me think about the different roles that I've played in other people's lives. So the type of person that I was, depending on the connections that I was in or the people that I was dealing with. And it just made me realize that with dealing with certain people or playing certain roles in certain people's lives, you kind of do take on a different sense of identity. And depending on who you're surrounded by, this can completely change the way that you view yourself. Maybe say if you're around people that don't really support you or don't really encourage you to be yourself or encourage you to partake in negative habits maybe, or people that use you and you feel like maybe you just overgive. It's really so different for everybody. But for me, it just really made me realize that a lot of the connections that we're in sometimes don't contribute to the self-identity that we want to have and that we perceive for ourselves, but instead trick us into believing that we're something that we're not. So to give you guys a clear example, for me, I realized that I was always really a people pleaser. So the role that I took on in people's lives, I was always the supporter and the person that was there for others and helping others. And I've kind of always played that role. And although I was taking advantage for it at certain points, I did realize that that was a part of my purpose. I was just going about it in the wrong way. So the answer that I wrote is, the roles that I take on in my life are the roles of a leader. I've gotten to a place now where I align my beliefs and the roles that I play in my life to my identity. this keeps me grounded in who I am and who I want to become. I always self-reflect and make sure that the roles I play are valuable to others and myself. So question number 3, how do you define yourself in terms of your relationships with others? How do these relationships shape your sense of self? Now, this question was honestly really tricky for me. I did not know how to answer this question at first, because when I read this question, I kind of just immediately thought about the person that I am in my connections and kind of tried to compare that to who I feel that I truly am. For me, I noticed that within my relationships with others, I kind of hold back a lot. And I would say it's due to trauma. I don't know. I've never really been a people person, but this question just really kind of made me reflect on how I portray myself to the people that I'm around and how I kind of really do hold back. So that's why I love journaling, because it makes you realize things about yourself that sometimes you may not see, sometimes you may not really think too deeply on. So the answer that I wrote is that in terms of my relationships with others, I would say I'm a bit distant at times and may come off as detached. I feel these relationships reflect the aspects of me that haven't fully learned how to trust again or feel comfortable expressing myself fully and unapologetically. Now on to question number 4. What life experience have shaped who you are today? So, say you were to walk up to somebody randomly on the street, right? And you ask them about the most painful thing they've ever experienced. Now, most people, they'd have some really deep things to share and some really harsh things that they went through. And this is really the reality for most people, because we all experience things in life. It's just the fact that we all handle it differently. That's why it's good to be kind, because you never know what somebody's going through or what somebody has gone through. And this is just a sign to not allow your traumas and your past events to dictate who you are today, because you can still live a good life. You can still find peace and happiness. So my answer, I didn't go too deep, but I wrote that my past relationships have played the biggest part of who I am today. They helped me to grow into who I am, as well as the experiences that I had throughout school and the people I've come across in my life. And last but not least, what are some of the fears or doubts that you have about your identity? How can you address those fears or doubts in a healthy way? So what my healing journey has taught me is that it's really not about your fears and what they are. It's not about what you've been through. It's not about your doubts, but it's really just more so about what you do with that information, how you choose to move forward, how you choose to become better, how you choose to overcome those obstacles. Because at the end of the day, it never ends, honestly. Even when you get to a place where you are at peace and you are happy, there's still going to be things to come up that's going to throw you off. That's going to throw your energy off balance and just get you frustrated or angry or mad or upset. It's always going to come, because that's just life. And you can try and avoid it as much as you want, but it's necessary, especially in our evolution. And once you really find a plan and a way to overcome these things with ease, and you get more into the habit of starting certain routines and getting into certain things that help you to overcome things so that you don't feel burdened when you experience things, this really helps you. And it's really good for me. I have my spiritual routine, which helps keep me balanced and grounded. So the answer that I wrote is that the emotions that I feel when it comes to my identity and the doubts that I have are that I always want to portray myself as exactly who I am, because I felt I didn't before. I didn't want to hide any aspects of myself or not come off as anything other than my true authentic self. But that is it for this video, you guys. Thank you for journaling with me if you took the time to, and I'm very proud of you, because that means that you're serious about your growth. So if you enjoyed, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next upcoming episodes. I love you, and peace out.
Oh.